Okay guys, let's get right into it. So in this episode, Brennan goes back to meet with Alyssa's family, and all I have to say is Alyssa's family is absolutely stunning. And her daddy. Ciao! Anyway, let's move on. Hey, Alyssa's daddy. I actually like how Brennan was honest with Alyssa's father when meeting him, and he was telling him, because Alyssa's father told Brennan that Alyssa is pretty much well taken care of, and he intends or expects for her husband to be able to take care of her the way that her father has been able to take care of her. And I will say, I love Brennan's honesty. Brennan was just like, I would not be able to do that. Flat out. He was just like, I'm not going to be able to take care of her financially the way that you have, but I promise you that I will do my best to make sure that I can get to that same point. And honestly, I give a man credit for that, because he could have lied and said, oh, of course, sir, of course I can do that. But he told the truth and was just like, I don't come from money. I don't make a lot of money. I cannot take care of her the way that you can right now, but I'm going to work to do my best to make sure that I can. And you know what? That's good enough for me. And it was obviously good enough for her father. So Colleen goes home to meet Matt's family. And as soon as we meet Matt's mama, I was like, ma'am, it is 2022. What are you doing with this OG 2007 Karen haircut? Cause mama, that asymmetrical bob in the back, I said, ma'am, what is going on? It's 2022. But anyway, Colleen meets Matt's mom, and she becomes instantly emotional talking about Matt and the heartache and everything that he went through, and just, you know, immediately embracing Colleen and letting her know that she wants them to work out. I will say I was a bit alarmed by Matt's mom wanting this to work out so badly with Colleen, right? She was very emotional about it, and it was kind of weird to Colleen, and it was weird to me as a viewer watching this, because I'm just like, what else is going on? I honestly felt like Matt was a lot to deal with when his ex cheated on him and dumped him. I think his mother had to take on his emotional baggage, and I honestly felt like she was relieved, unfortunately, to have somebody else come in and take this responsibility off of her, because she was just far too eager to get Colleen down that aisle and married to her son right away. What do you guys think? Was her behavior a little weird to you? Let's talk about it in the comment section below. Cole's apartment, full-on jump scare. Full-on jump scare. I will say, looking at Cole, you know he a little dirty. You know he a little messy. He always looks like he just rolled out of bed, threw on a blazer, and went to work, right? So I was not expecting his apartment to be uber clean or even smell sweet, but I was not expecting this. That apartment was filthy. That toilet, I was just like, Zenab, you still here? You still staying with this dude after the toilet? For me, I would have been like, okay, well, this is not something that's going to work out for me, because as a woman, especially somebody who's going to be physically intimate with someone, you need to know how your partner lives. And I feel like the home is the best descriptor of where somebody is at, unless they are dealing with some kind of mental health issue. And, you know, we all have those days, right? But I feel like this is Cole's apartment on a regular basis. And I was just like, Zenab, if this is how he keeps his apartment, girl, how the hell you think he keep his balls? Let's tell the truth and shame the devil. If the apartment is dirty, so is the Bucci. Oh, Nancy, girl, get up. Girl, get up. Girl, get up. When she meets Bartise's family, the first thing that she says to him is, oh, I know I'm not his normal type of beautiful girlfriend. Why the hell are you saying that to them people? Why the hell the first time that they are meeting you, they are reaffirming your beauty to you? I think it goes to show that this man has beat her down so much. She feels so less than and feels so worthy to be with Bartise. Our girl was down bad. She was down bad. Also, real quick, speaking of Nancy, a few of you have made comments about my interpretation of the things that she said concerning abortion and ableism on the last episode. I just want to be very clear. I was not saying that there was anything wrong with Nancy's comments. What I was saying was that I had wished that she had not had that conversation on camera, because you could tell that that was a really long conversation, and for the sake of time the conversation was edited, and it looked as if Nancy's comments were ableist. And if I was somebody who was disabled watching that conversation, I would have felt a certain way. But I do not think that Nancy's argument for abortion was ableist, because I do not think that we got her full argument, which is why I put emphasis on, I wish she would not have had this on camera. Because at the end of the day, this is a TV show. It is not about educating, it is about entertaining. They're not going to make sure that they get everything right in Nancy's argument or reasoning for abortion. That's why I said what I said. I hope that clears some things up. We were having a great conversation in the comments. I don't want you guys to think that I had anything that I felt any kind of way about that. But I just wanted to clarify it because I could not respond to everybody. But thank you all so much for having that conversation with me in my comment section. And thank you for so freely sharing your opinion in the kindest way possible. I felt like we all had a really healthy conversation, and it's because of the Star family that we have been able to build here at NikkiStar TV. Moving on, Bartise has broken this woman down so much that she just does not believe that she is stunning, and his family has to uphold her and lift her up and let her know that, you know, she is beautiful. Even the father was like, oh, you gorgeous. And I believe him. I believe Bartise's daddy. If he had a shot with Nancy, baby, he would have took it. Let's talk about how Bartise does not protect Nancy in any kind of way. Because as soon as Bartise introduces Nancy to his family, he immediately lets them know her feelings on abortion. Just basically saying that he is with somebody who was pro-choice. I think knowing that his family is pro-life, I think he threw a grenade. And I think the intended target was Nancy. I felt like he was building his out, because you know how your parents feel, you know how your sister feels, because that then prompted her to have her own little moment where she's falling out, and it just became something that it was not supposed to be. I felt like he put Nancy in that situation to show a side of her to his family so that he can use them disapproving of her as a reason for not marrying her in the end. And I feel really bad for her. I feel really, really bad for her. I was just like, not only does this man break you down to make you feel that you are not beautiful, he also does not protect you. He put you in front of his family and purposefully exposed you so that you can be embarrassed. And that argument that will come from that will cause conflict in your relationship, which in turn will give him another out and another reason to say no on decision day. Nancy, you deserve better. Raven's friends meet SK. Let's just put it all out there on the table. Raven's friends were extremely rude to SK. To look at that man, look him up and down and say to him, she normally is with somebody taller and a bit more athletic. Like, that's her type. I get what they were trying to say, but this is not stuff that you say to your friend's partner. This is stuff you say to your friend when her man excuses himself and goes to the bathroom. Why are you saying that in front of him? And they didn't even say it with any kind of honey. It was just harsh and nasty. I didn't like how they cut SK down. I also did not like how ignorant they were about Nigerian culture. I don't know if those two women were Nigerian, but I will say the way you guys came off, it was as if you did not know anything and you were completely ignorant and degrading of his culture. I did not like how they spoke about Nigerian culture. I did not like how they spoke about Nigerian women and saying, listen, American women are here. Nigerian women are over there. We are very different. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? Because what you're saying and your actions is telling me something completely different. I don't like it, Raven. And I felt like you should have checked your friends in that moment, because that's your fiance. He needs to feel protected by you when you bring him in spaces where he is going to be judged. They were doing a bit too much for me, and I did not like it. What do you guys think that Raven meant when she was talking to her friends and saying that she was raised in white culture, and that comes with its own political and cultural ramifications? I could not quite break that down, because I don't see a white person when I see Raven, but I do know that she was raised by the white side of her family. I just want to know what these social and political ramifications are. Like, what do you mean by that, Raven? Somebody break it down for me in the comments section, because I don't want to lean to my own understanding. But Raven really put it out there and left it up to our imagination, so I don't want to assume. But if you may have a bit more insight into what she meant, please let me know in the comments section below. So Alyssa meets Brennan's family. I just have to be honest with you. I don't know if love is enough. I really do not know if love is enough, because with Alyssa and Brennan, we have already come into how culturally different they are and how socially different they are. And now we're coming into how financially different they are. Listen, opposites do attract. I don't know if these two are too opposite. And I think right now they're in the honeymoon stages of their relationship. I am curious to see how this relationship survives in the real world for a significant amount of time. I want to see them in a year. I really, really do, because I do think that these two are in love, but I don't know if love is enough. We will see. We will see. So the cast all gets together and hangs out, and I guess Colleen felt the need, or maybe one of the producers nudged her and told her to go talk to Zenab and tell her what actually happened with her and Cole at the pool. While this was happening, I was like, Colleen, do you know that there were cameras there and you're probably going to see this back at the reunion, and Zenab and Matt are going to watch this? And the reason why I say that is because Colleen had a totally different interpretation and retelling of what actually happened. She was making it seem like Cole was the one hitting on her, when I was just like, Colleen, you are the one who was perched on the side of that pool, making eyes at that man saying, yeah, you're my type. You're absolutely my type. I would absolutely go for a guy like you in the real world. Like, there was some heavy flirting going on, Colleen. You can admit that. Don't put that all on Cole. It was the both of you. So Matt, who has since calmed down from his incident that he had with Colleen, he decides now to go over to Zenab and give her flowers, basically gassing her up, and I love that, letting her know that she is too good for Cole. I was just like, Matt, are you encouraging her to leave Cole? Now, is this because that you think Zenab can do better, or is it because that you are mad at Colleen and Cole for, getting a little too flirty at the pool and you want to get rid of your competition? What is the truth, Matt? Let's talk about it. Whatever the truth was, Matt's plan worked, because after talking to Matt, Zenab was heated and she got Cole right together. She just found him and cussed that man out. Listen, Cole comes off very sweet and very naive and very childish at times, to the point where Zenab looks like she's nagging. But I just don't think that this woman would go off without this man pushing all of her buttons. So I'm gonna allow this cuss out. Because I think that Cole does a lot more to Nancy behind the scenes, and it just plays out on camera because Zenab can't fake it. And in saying that, I really want, moving forward, for Zenab to work on her insecurities. I need Zenab to know that she is stunning. I need Zenab to know that her features, her skin color, her culture, all those things are beautiful. I don't think that she does not think that. I think that Zenab was raised in a white household, in a white community, like after her parents passed, right? I think when her parents passed, so did her culture, right? Because she says that her stepmother raised her here in America. And I think that the stepmother lived in an area that was comfortable to her, not really considering how that neighborhood, that school system would affect somebody like Zenab, like a brown child. And I think because of that, and the only reason why I'm saying this, Zenab, is because you were really dead set on Cole having blue eyes. Like, you were so obsessed with him having that. To me, it made me seem as if you were just really obsessed with having a white partner. And I think because you probably grew up in a white area, or an area where you did not see you, and where you did not see people like you being upheld or being the beauty standard. And I think because of that, even if Cole is not being awful, he still hits you in a place of your insecurity, because he represents a man, a sort of man, or a kind of man that has rejected you your whole life. So any ounce of a little pushback or a little bit of rejection that comes from Cole, it just cuts you so deeply, because I think you have some healing to do in that specific area concerning your physical insecurities that you have about yourself. Because no shade to Colleen, but the way that Zenab continues to rate herself next to Colleen and calling Colleen stunning in this bombshell, I gotta be honest with you, Zenab, I think the only reason why you're saying those things about Colleen is because she's white. I do not see a woman who looks like you, right? If you did not have those insecurities, looking at a Colleen and saying, oh my goodness, I'm out of her league. Like, she's just so up there, and she, of course, every man would want her. I just don't believe that. But if you didn't know what you look like, or if you did not know that what you look like is beautiful or accepted or is the beauty standard, then I can understand you thinking that way. But girl, you're stunning. I hope you know that now. So Matt then sits down with Cole because he wants to know what was said when Cole and Colleen was doing the flirtation at the pool. I will say this, Matt, you're that guy. You are absolutely that guy. Because I was very shocked, knowing what we know of you and how you react to things, that you were so chill talking to Cole. But when it was Colleen, you were blowing up. You couldn't contain your anger. You had to leave out and calm yourself down. But when you're talking to the man who's supposed to be your friend, who was making a move on your woman, your fiance, you real chill. And you're suddenly able to hear him out. I wonder why. So this episode ends with Matt going completely bonkers over the phone talking to Nancy. So Nancy is talking to Bartise, who is breaking her down, letting her know yet again that she is no Raven. While Bartise is breaking her down, she gets a call and it's from Matt. And she's like, hold on, Bartise, please stop from tearing me down. I have to answer this call from Matt. She answers the call from Matt and Matt is like, do you know where Colleen is? And she's like, huh? No, I don't know where Colleen is. He was like, yeah, of course you don't know where she is because she'd rather be out at the clubs than be home with her boy. And I was like, where is security? 911. We need a restraining order. I was watching this episode like, I hope to God that they do not allow Colleen to go back to that room with that irate man. Bartise of all people had to run to his room, run to Matt and Colleen's room and calm him down and tell him not to leave. He's like, no, I'm leaving, dude. I'm leaving. No, she want to be out in the streets. She don't want to be with her boy. She don't want to spend time with her fiance. Colleen, love is blind. If something happens to that woman, you are absolutely responsible. Absolutely responsible, because if this is what Matt is showing on camera, my God, today I can only imagine what y'all didn't show us. So let's move on into episode 8. So in this episode, we see Colleen, the ballerina. I guess she was like, let me show Miss Nikki.Star who I am. And baby, you showed me. You showed me, because when I first saw Colleen, and just by, I'm not looking at her body or anything like that, I was just looking at Colleen's walk. When Colleen said that she was a ballerina, I did not see it, because ballerinas have a very specific walk and every dancer knows what I'm talking about. And she just did not have that walk, so I was a little thrown off by that, because also she mentioned that she's a ballerina, like, and that's like all she does. So I'm like, if you're a professional ballerina, how the hell do you have time for this show? How in the hell do you have a regular walk? How in the hell do you do all that drinking? It wasn't giving ballerina to me. But she showed me, she got it. Homegirl was on point. I didn't see a sickle foot. The hands were where they needed to be. She had the technique. So good on you, Colleen, for letting me know that you do what you do as the ballerina. Work, sis. I see you. Oh, Lord. So in this episode, the three Broketeers are on an apology tour. Matt, Cole, and Bartise are on an apology tour because they obviously effed up really bad with their women. So they're, with their fiancés, so they're overdoing the niceties and the apologizing, which I was not buying at all. I was just like, we've already seen you guys for who you are. The sudden change into being a nice guy is just not convincing to me at all. You know what was really shocking? That with Matt and Bartise being in the picture, Cole to me seemed the most like fake to me, right? Like how he was making up to Zenab, I just couldn't buy it. It felt so community theater. I just did not feel that it was real. And I think Zenab felt the same way, because she was very checked out with him this episode, like very checked out. There was nothing that he could say that would make her feel better, which is making me believe that stuff is happening off camera. Conversations are happening. Confrontations are happening. And when the cameras come, Cole, the actor, is on. But Zenab, she cannot fake it. She cannot fake it. Something is happening off camera, guys. I really, really do think that something is happening there that they are not bringing to the show. Oh gosh, I'm concerned for our girl Zenab. I really, really am. Because when the show first started, she was so full of life. Now she's just muted and short and just dark, not happy at all. That sucks because I want better for her. I really, really do. She deserves better. She really does. Now Brennan gets to meet Alyssa's friends. And can I tell you that Alyssa's friends and myself are on the same page? They were like, he is not your type. This guy is like conservative. And even Alyssa herself was just like, I don't see him hanging out with my friends at all. And Alyssa, I felt like you needed to elaborate on that a bit more because I think we all could see why he could not hang out with your friends. Because I think leaving that open, right, after your friend describes him as being very conservative, and then you talking about your friends, the girls and the gays, and Brennan not being able to hang out with them. Why? Like, why would he not mesh with this group? Like, what are you saying, right? And the reason why I say that is because you don't want to leave it up to us to figure it out, right? Because if you're leading us down this road that this man is conservative and he will be uncomfortable, just not really be able to mesh or get along with your friends, where are we landing on that, right? Like, what am I supposed to think about his views? I just wish that you would have been a little bit more clear about that, because if 1 + 1 is 2 and 2 + 2 is 4, then what the, child? I'm just saying, if you're leading me down that road, lead me clearly. Be a better guide about where you are leading the conversation when talking about your partner. Anyway, I still think that these two are the real deal. I think the love is real. Again, I just don't know if love is enough. Don't fight me, because I know how you girls like to tussle. But I think it's so cute that Matt and his friends are bite-sized. When Matt's friends walked through the door and they were all just these cute little tiny countrymen, I was like, oh my God. They were like, hey, hey. I was like, oh, the whole crew is mid-sized. It was so cute. It was so cute. Friends, Matt and Colleen, just this little tiny crew of people. I thought it was adorable. I really, really did. I don't know why. I do not know why. But when they walked through the door, I was like, oh my God. Just adorable. When Matt sat down with his friends, I love that he acknowledged his insecurities from being cheated on by his ex, and how he feels like he's looking for an out and self-sabotaging the relationship, and his friends confirming, you know, his poor behavior. I'm not saying that his behavior is okay. I'm just glad that it's being acknowledged, and his community is like pointing that out, like, dude, you absolutely have to work on that. At least he's aware. Since we are all aware of how awful Matt has treated Colleen, let's talk about how he weaponizes abandonment concerning Colleen. Because whenever he's upset with her, the first thing he does is threaten to leave. You are weaponizing abandonment. You are weaponizing leaving this woman and leaving her alone, knowing that she struggles with rejection. And I think that's why Colleen is holding so steadfast to Matt, because she's always been rejected by men later on in the relationship. And Matt knew that he had her when he threatened to leave the first time, and Colleen went, oh no, please don't go. He knew he had something. So he continues to use that because he knows that she struggles with abandonment issues, right? Not from her father, but from the men that she has been in a relationship with. When we met Colleen, the first thing she said to us was that men don't stay with me. They start with me and then they go somewhere else. So what does she get on the show? A man who, whenever she does something that he does not like, threatens to leave her, threatens to go somewhere else. I can't see this relationship going well. I can't see this relationship going well, or any kind of goodness in it. I know they might have great moments, but I will say, from what I've seen on the show, I don't think you guys have many. Matt and Colleen, your show relationship is horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. Let me just say this about Raven. I love that she is not allowing SK's family to bulldoze her wedding. Because listen, we all know when we meet our significant others, in-laws, we're a little bit nicer than we actually need to be. Like, we're nice, but you're uber nice. But I loved seeing Raven saying no to things, right? Seeing Raven say, I'll say yes to this, but I'll say no to that, because we are meshing cultures. This is what I desire. This is what he desires, right? Like, she's not letting them do and say whatever they want. She's also giving her opinion and establishing boundaries within her relationship with this family. And I think that she probably will do the same thing with SK. And I love that. I love that. I am on the Raven train. I am really on the Raven train. I can't believe I'm here. From episode 1 to now, that's my girl. I do not trust this 180 that Bartise has done concerning Nancy and his feelings. Here's why. The way he speaks about her just throws me off. Throws me off, because when you're talking about your fiance and you constantly say, like, yeah, dude, I love that girl. Like, I really, really do love that girl. Like, I would not have done this if I didn't love that girl. The way he speaks about her. What man speaks about his fiance that way? Somebody who he wants to marry for the rest of his life. Somebody that he wants to bear his children. Why would he speak of her that way, that girl? I feel like when he speaks about her, he removes value, because that's how detached he is from Nancy. This lock moment with Zenab and Cole actually was really, really cute, right? So they had this moment where they were on a bridge where they had like these locks of love, and Cole like played the, because he's a jokester, played the little joke where he dropped the lock and Zenab was like, oh my goodness, Cole. And then he actually pulled out the real lock and was like, no, I'm just joking. I will say, when that lock dropped, the first thing I thought was, I hope this is not foreshadowing to how this relationship is going to end. Just at the bottom of a lake, dead, destitute, no one coming to save you. Lord, I hope it wasn't foreshadowing. Let's go back to Bartise for a minute, because when Bartise is hanging out with his sister, he says to her, because they're looking for tuxedos for his wedding, he says to his sister, when his sister says, are you okay? Like, is this, like, are you sure about this? Like, where's your head at? And he was just like, yeah, I love this girl. I love this girl. She's just easy. And I, as a woman hearing that, was like, oof, oof, right? But then I realized I've heard that from a lot of my guy friends who are in relationships, who, you know, are engaged, who are on their way to be married. Like, I've heard them say that, I've heard all of them say that about the women that they've settled down with. She is just easy. Now, as a woman hearing that, you're like, you know, for me, I was like, I don't want my man to say that I'm easy. But I think for a lot of men, having an easy-go-lucky relationship with a woman where there's just like low to no drama is ideal for them. I think that's why a lot of men cannot weather a storm in a relationship, right? Because I was watching this this interview with this nurse, and she was talking about how when she worked in hospice, was it an interview or was it a TikTok? One or the other. But she was talking about how she was working in hospice, how if a woman was sick, if a man was sick, his wife would be there with him to the end, right? Until he goes on to glory. But if the woman was the one who was sick and, you know, just in hospice living out her final days, they rarely to never did the husbands show up. I think that that's a conversation that at least women need to have, or men just need to examine. Why, when the going gets tough, do you get gone? Like, why is that? And maybe it's because we do not raise our boys into men to stay. We raise boys and girls very differently, right? Women are to endure. Like, our thing is to take it and stand by your man, stand by his side. You never hear that said for men. You never hear that said for men. Men are always told that they have options. Women are told they better get something before their eggs dry up, right? Right, so maybe that's what it is, but that like hit me. I was like, and it's because men don't like no drama, no problems, nothing in their relationships. The minute it gets difficult, and I'm not saying this about all men. I really am not saying this about all men. I'm just saying that this is something that I've been hearing a lot from straight cisgender men who are in relationships with women and are settling down. Their main thing is, she's easy. Should that be your main thing? I don't know. Let's talk about it in the comment section below. I am that girl. I am absolutely that girl that cries at weddings. I am absolutely that girl that cries at, you know, the wedding dress pickage, that whole situation, because I was in tears watching the women pick their dresses. Knowing that I don't think that any of these marriages should happen, but I was still in tears like, oh my goodness, this is so beautiful. Oh my goodness, you're having a moment. Oh my God. Like, I was in it. I was in it. But right now, where I'm at, I'm like, none of you guys should be getting married. But the dresses are so pretty. Before we wrap up, let's talk about the conversation that SK and Raven had concerning family. I'm Team Raven on this one. Here is why. SK is asking Raven about her family and if they will show up at the wedding. And Raven immediately rolls her eyes and looks at him. And she's like, we've had this conversation. We've had this conversation before. Certain family members that I want to be there cannot make it. And my mom is not okay with this process. She was just like, I have a different family. I know you're closer to your family and you want your family to be more involved, but this is my family and this is my situation. Here is why I'm Team Raven. Because the first thing that she said to SK in response to his comment about like what's going on with your family was, we had this conversation already. And she said it to him like 3 times. So I think she was a little embarrassed and frustrated because they had already had this conversation off camera. So he knew where her family was at and he knew that they weren't coming. And I think she just felt exposed in that moment and exposed by her fiance and a man that she loves. So I'm Team Raven on that one. I just felt like SK could have handled that a little better. So those are my thoughts about episode 7 and 8 of Love is Blind season 3. What do you guys think? Let's talk about it in the comment section below. And if you like what you see here, please make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I will see you in another video for something else. Love you guys. Bye. Mwah.